So as I'm sure you know, there is a big problem on the internet with people lying about how many languages they speak and basically giving trash advice that doesn't actually help anyone. And I'm just going to try and address that in this video. So if you've probably seen all the titles like, how to learn a language in 24 hours. I don't really need to go into that, but that does actually happen for a reason. There's a reason YouTubers and, the like on Instagram, I don't really use it that much, but I'd imagine it's the same. They all try and, push these clickbait titles. There is actually a reason for that, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video, why polyglots lie. And I put the word polyglots in speech, in like quotations, because they're not actually polyglots, because they're lying. But yeah, you get what I mean. So there are really two, am I in the way of that? Yeah, you can see. There are really two main reasons why polyglots lie about things. The first reason is for views. So views, I literally just mean like getting people to click on the video. So someone might say click-through rate, or, try and debate what the actual term is. It's just to get as many people as possible to watch their content. And they do that by posting, outrageous, clickbait content. That's going to get more views than reasonable content, obviously. And the second reason is to boost their credibility / ego. Obviously, you're not really boosting your credibility by lying, but if you're claiming you can do a lot more than you actually can, then I suppose you could say they're also trying to boost their credibility for whatever reason. But although those are the two reasons why people actually, post videos on how to learn a language in 24 hours, there is actually kind of a deeper reason beneath that kind of flows into those two reasons. And that deeper reason is that society values results over processes. So when it comes to making progress in really difficult goals, like, language learning, for example, I'm sure you can think of a couple others. There's kind of two parts. There's the result, which is kind of the end part. That's your goal, your dream, what you're after. And then there's also the process, which is what it takes to achieve that result. There's two parts. You can't have the result without the process. You can dream about the result, but you will never actually achieve it without the process. And the reason this kind of content exists and is actually becoming more and more prevalent is because society values results over processes. We value the kind of outcome, like the reward, whether it's learning a language or, making money. Just go on social media. I don't even need to list examples. You can see on social media what people value. Those are generally all results that are either people lying about stuff, or it's like the result of an extremely, someone putting in a lot of work, basically. So us valuing results so much has resulted in people taking advantage of that. The creators follow the views, after all. If there were no views for videos like how to learn a language in 24 hours, they wouldn't make them. So the reason the reason these videos get so many views is just because we as a society would rather see results than actual processes. We put dopamine over actually learning things. And I think that's a problem. But the reason this is important to go into is because it actually broadens the way you see things, and it helps you just kind of understand where we are kind of as a society. So if the slide actually moves on, I think the solution for this is quite simple, but it's something that most people don't grasp, obviously, or this kind of content wouldn't exist. What you need to do is start valuing processes over results. So at present, most of you probably do, even though you can see through kind of the crap of how to learn a language in 24 hours, so that's silly, you still probably value the result over the process. You would rather think about, learning a language, being able to speak a language and then, see other people doing it and it's really cool, than actually putting an effort into achieving the goal and one day having it for yourself. And that's not going to get you anywhere. So you need to start actually valuing the process of learning over a result. And results only appear through processes. I said that before. You're not going to get a result without the process. I've written an example, muscle through the gym, but you get the point. I think the people who actually worship results, which is most people and most language learners probably, certainly, in my opinion, they're spectators. If you watch videos like how to learn a language in 24 hours, etc., you're just a spectator. That's all there is to it. You're not actually going to make any progress. And for the 1%, or maybe a bit more than 1%, that might be a bit harsh, but for the people that actually do put in the work, those are the achievers. They don't worship results. They want results, by all means. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to be able to speak a language, or, whatever your goal is. But the people who are actually achievers, they worship the process. They think about the goal and they see the process and they're like, okay, this is the process required. I'm just going to focus entirely on this. I'm going to worship the process. I'm going to make sure I've got a habit track. I'm going to do all the things required. And then eventually I can have the result. So I think another thing to take note of as well before we get to the end of this video is you vote with your time about the kind of person you want to be. And you also vote with the content you consume. That's one way you can spend your time. So think about the kind of content you're consuming and take stock of how you actually use your time. If you're using your time to watch videos of, high dopamine, high result based content, that's you voting with your time that you want to be a spectator. That's basically you voting with your time that you don't actually want to make any progress. You'd rather watch people and kind of entertain yourself. But if you choose to start actually valuing processes over results, you're going to start voting with your time in a different way, and you're going to start voting that you actually want to become the person who has that result. You want to be an achiever and you don't want to be a spectator anymore. So cut back on the crap, cut back on the shorts, the entertainment, all that stuff. You already know what you shouldn't be watching, what you should be watching. And I'd highly recommend you also increase long form content. It's very difficult to have a void. It is easy to start filling your time with other things. And I think a great way to fill the time that you used to consume short form content in is just to start watching long form content and to start actually educating yourself and becoming that kind of achiever. So yeah, that is basically the video. I'd also set a question value, but that's pretty straightforward. If you've got half a brain, you can clearly see that learning a language in 24 hours isn't possible. And you can question anything that doesn't seem exactly right. But yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button, guys. And if you have any questions, comment down below. But that is the video, and have a good one. I hope you learned something.